Good morning. Grab your
Good morning.
coffee, grab your drinks, pull up a seat, get ready to be enlightened for another amazing episode of Force for Growth Live. I'm Ricardo.
Yes, and good morning. I'm Courtney, and we are covering our word of the week today. We only have a few more left, but thank you for joining us. I'm Courtney.
Yes, good morning. I am Michelle and super excited you are here. Chat with us and let's get on to the word of the week.
Yes. Okay. So our word of the week is we draw it each Monday on our 6 a.m. calls by pulling a Do 52 stick that is stamped with a verb. And Do 52 is a simple but powerful toolkit designed by House of Shine to prompt us weekly to do things mindfully and open ourselves up to new ideas and new adventures. So this week, it's so perfect. I'm so excited. Our word is dream.
Boom.
Yes.
So what do you got, Michelle?
Okay, so the definition, again, we're looking at the verb definition, and the definitions are to have a series of thoughts, images, or emotions while sleeping, to have a dream, to indulge in daydreams or fantasies, to appear tranquil or dreamy. And then the transitive verbs are to have a dream of, to consider as a possibility, or to pass as in time, in reverie or in action. And we had an awesome conversation about dreams this morning. It's a perfect word for us. So, what did that bring up for you guys?
I like the fact that it says emotions. It specifies having emotions while you're sleeping
Mm-hmm.
because I can't think of a dream that was not emotional.
Yeah.
Like it's never a blah dream, like where I don't feel nothing. It's not like, oh, okay, it's just a mediocre emotion. Usually when I dream, it's powerful. It's something like almost sometimes, depending on what it is, it's jarring to where you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
like falling or your eyes falling out or your teeth falling out or being attacked by a snake or something like that, which all those dreams have meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. And they're rarely directly what they're about. It's rarely about that person that's in your dream or whatnot. But just like Tamara pointed out this morning, those are subjects in your daily life, symbols that the subconscious can pull from. So it kind of takes what is relevant now and forms it in this little cocktail that it gives you while you're asleep, this chemical soup, if you will. Thank you to Stacey Denford for that term. But yeah, it's a big one. Like, do you really allow yourself to dream as an adult now? Do you really allow yourself to dream? Like,
They say dream big.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Like,
Do you allow yourself to dream big?
I think we limit ourselves. That's one thing with my coaching, my health coaching. That's something they teach us is how to dream. And I love that because I never was a dreamer before. And I very, very much limited myself. Like I got an accounting degree. I had a great, successful career in accounting, but there was a ceiling on what I thought I was capable of or what I thought I would have in life. And since I started coaching, that's one of the things that they stress is dream big, like allow yourself, awaken yourself to be able to dream. And now my dreams are huge. Like I never would have dreamed that I would dream of the things that I dream of now. So
that's so empowering.
How did you like that?
I love that.
I like it. I would have never dreamed that I would have dreamed of the things that I'm dreaming now.
Yeah.
And I think the key word there that you used is allowed ourselves to dream, that we don't allow ourselves to dream. We don't give ourselves permission to go into that state of wonder and illusion and what's possible and opening our mind to the possibilities of what may happen.
Yeah. It's like we stop ourselves. We're like, no, we need to focus on this right now. Or no, I need to concentrate on this. Or I shouldn't be sitting here right now. I should be blah, blah, blah. Fill in the blank. We all got 100 of them, right? But what if actually sitting there and dreaming a solid 10 minutes a day or what if that was the most effective thing you could do with your time? Seriously, what if, and I'm saying what if because I believe it is, but I want you to come to your own conclusion. Like if you can create something, if you can manifest something, to use trendy terms, but if you can clarify, like sitting there and really dreaming about it, you can clarify what you want the room to look like. You can clarify who you want to be there with you, so you fill in the blanks, but you got to allow yourself, because I personally believe it's the most efficient thing you can do, period. Granted, if you spent 24 hours a day dreaming, we need to have another talk. Like, hey, let's talk about doing and achieving, but different conversation. But yeah, do you allow yourself truly?
Real quick, Rhonda says, dream. I always dream. Dreamed big. So here's the question. We always talk about dreaming big. We know dreaming big is a thing, but do you allow yourself to dream big enough? Or do you limit yourself? Do you limit yourself? Like, oh, okay, that's big enough for me right now. Anything that I dream beyond this limit is outside of my comfort zone.
That's a great distinction.
Do we cap it? Because I think it's natural to cap it. Go ahead, Michelle.
I always capped it. And now I'm learning or being awakened to be able to dream. It's funny because dream is something you think of when you're asleep, but you have to be awakened to really dream big. But I feel like I'm waking up to the possibilities, and it's limiting beliefs that create that ceiling. And I'm learning how to smash those limiting beliefs. I've got a lot of work to do still, but we really are limitless, and we put so many limits on ourselves.
Let me try something with you, Michelle, if I may.
Okay.
What's one of your dreams?
So I have a dream to have a house in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Overlooking the lake and the mountains.
Why just one house on Lake Tahoe?
Why just one?
Yes.
Okay. Because more than one would be way too much maintenance.
Okay, but that doesn't matter. We're not thinking logically. See, that's the thing. We logically outthink ourselves. Why not one on Lake Tahoe and one on Lake Cucamonga?
I'll take one on Lake Tahoe and one in Costa Rica.
There you go.
There you go. I'll take that.
There you go. What about, can you come up with a third one?
Fiji? I'm just throwing out my own. I was about to say Fiji.
I think Fiji would be cool. Bora Bora.
See, but that's the thing. That's the point. You hesitated. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't allowed myself to think beyond Lake Tahoe.
Yes. I really don't want that many houses, though. I would rather have something else.
But it's okay, though. But that's okay, though. Once you get to that point, you don't have to buy it, but there's no reason to cap yourself with just one.
Yeah. True.
Right? Yeah. That's where, and I love that you just pushed her through that. And I love that Rhonda's commenting right now, because exactly, like you have to have a certain breakthrough to realize you are limitless. So I hope you've already had that, or you're in that now. But I capped it absolutely until I learned I was limitless. And then now I do what Michelle just did, where I'm like, well, I could do that, but that's not who I really am, or I'm not materialistic. So I justify it, I slip into justifications. And I love you, Rhonda. And it's big. And Rhonda's a great example of that, because when I actually met her a year ago, I'm picking on you, Rhonda. I met her on Sean Murphy's morning call. She's one of the amazing misfits. Basically, she was so shy to speak up, and she didn't think her voice really mattered. And then she started speaking up. Yeah, I remember that. And now, and I say this with absolute love and adoration, you can't shut her up. And she is changing the world. And she's more than that, just changing it for women in areas like teaching us to dream, like giving you permission to dream. And one thing she says often is, if you have a purpose, you have a heartbeat. So that, especially for women in this am I enough world, that we're conditioned to be everything, but perfect at everything, it's just very overwhelming mentally. And I'm sure men struggle with many things in this area, but just your mess is okay. Like, you're here, you're living. It's okay to be messy. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be, perfect to make a difference in somebody's life. And so whenever you realize that, you start to see your own power And then you learn to practice with your power. So it's all like an onion that you're unfolding a layer at a time. But yeah, at a certain point, like you need to stop capping it. But I love that distinction, how you just challenged her there, because yeah, are we justifying because we are still technically capping it? We're just calling it something else. Or do we really not want that? Because that's not us.
Correct.
You know?
And it's okay if you don't want it. However, why limit it?
Yeah.
So one of the things is Sebastian, my greatest teacher ever, my little 7-year-old mini Buddha over here, that lives with me.
Little Yoda.
Yeah, little Yoda over here. Baby Yoda, I don't know, whatever. But when we talk about dreaming, when we talk about wishing, I mean, he goes crazy. Like, especially like right around Christmas time. What do you want? Well, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I don't want just one for me. I want one for all my friends. I want one for you. I want one for you. And I want this for myself, but I also want this and this and this and this. Limitless. No limits whatsoever. He doesn't just want one for himself, but he wants one for all his friends and all his classmates. And so in the terms of the lake house on Bora Bora, it's like, well, I don't just want for myself, but I want a whole neighborhood and one for everybody. I want 20 of them. So like that, I can invite 20 friends over to come stay in their own house on the lake on Bora Bora, on Lake Tahoe with me, right? But there's no cap, there's no limit. And he's not shy. He's not ashamed. He's not like, he doesn't hold back. He's just like, okay, no, I don't just want one computer. I want 5 computers, one for me and one for everyone else who doesn't have one so they can play with me. And it's like, okay, dude, like, no, I want 10 computers. I want 15. No, I want 1 million computers for Christmas. And it's like, what? Okay, well, that's not going to happen. However, we applaud you on your dreams.
Yeah.
But there's no limitations. There's no shy. And the biggest lesson that he's taught me is there is no hesitation. There's no hesitation. He doesn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to think about it. And I think that's where we get caught up, is we hesitate when we are asked to dream bigger than big.
That's a great, okay. So whenever I'm referring to the example of like when you get an idea to do something, it only takes 3 to 5 seconds statistically for your brain or your ego to talk you out of it. It can be like, oh, I should go running today. No, I got this work thing to do. I have this thing to do. I can't, so in those first few seconds, but we do it with dreaming. So what if you just flip that and think about it? When you're like, oh, I could go buy a house in Bora Bora. Technically, you could figure out a way in a year to have even just a little shack in Bora Bora and work your way up to, right? Like the possibilities are endless in between, or what we define as a house. It doesn't have to be a mansion yet. You can upgrade to a mansion later. So there's so many distinctions, but just the blanket surface, first thing your brain's going to do is tell you why you can't do it. That's
Correct.
Just your old story on repeat.
Correct.
So just keep in mind, you have the power to just push that button and take it off repeat. But it will feel awkward. It will look like, okay, stop, wait, let me list 10 reasons why I know I can achieve this, or I know I deserve this. And you might have to struggle to think of 10, but it's doing something in that moment to flip it versus just letting that run.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Did it feel uncomfortable, Michelle, when I was like drilling it?
Yes.
That's the thing. It's like, wait a minute. I can't even like say the words.
Yeah. I had to think. I had to go in my head,
Yes, because we're not prepared. We're not prepared.
Yeah.
However, if the magic genie from Aladdin came out and was like, okay, you got 3 wishes. However, you got 30 seconds to give them to me.
Yeah.
Would you freeze up, or would you be able to just go for it and go big and ostentatious?
I would probably freeze up.
The genie metaphor.
Hold on a sec. That's really big of you to admit that, Michelle. I have to say that I love that.
Thank you.
I love that, because not everyone, I think the majority of people would say, no, I know exactly what I would want and I know exactly what I would ask for. But the truth is that there's probably a pretty big percentage that would actually freeze up if that actually happened in the moment. So I honor the honesty. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes. And okay, I just wanted to throw out there the metaphor of the genie. Do y'all know where that came from? Y'all might have an idea, but so the genie is a metaphor for the universe. And the metaphor came from combining many, many cultures' beliefs on it. But the actual secret is you don't just get 3 wishes, you get an unlimited amount of wishes.
Ooh.
And the genie in the bottle is the universe. And technically, you do have the power. Whatever that means to you.
I want to read this.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do in my quiet time every day is read Jesus Calling. And on December 11th, a couple of days ago, I had to find it because it goes so perfectly with our word dream. It says, spend time allowing my light to infuse your dreams with life. And I love that. Infuse your dreams with life, gradually transforming them into reality. This is a very practical way of collaborating with me. I, the creator of the universe, have designed to co-create with you, to co-create with you. That means that God's given us the ability to co-create, right? To co-create with him. And we just have to tap into that power that he gives us to do that. And we so limit ourselves.
Yeah. Wow. And Rhonda is excited in the comments. That's her favorite devotional and she reads it every day.
I love it. It's so good.
Jesse says, I'm with you, Michelle. LOL. 3 houses is too much. Who is cleaning these houses?
No kidding.
The magical fairy maids that we can afford to hire. That's
exactly. Yes. Why limit yourself with just the houses? No, you have a whole full staff with butlers and maids and chefs and everyone, and 20 houses. So you can invite 20 people and everyone's staying on the lake and everyone has jet skis and boats docked at the house. Why stop at the houses?
Yeah.
Jesse had a comment that really was a cool part of our call, our 6 a.m. call this morning. But she said, do we hold our dreams back when we haven't experienced it before? For example, do we want a house in Bora Bora if we've never been before and don't know how beautiful it is? And that's really cool and an awesome point to bring up, because on the call this morning, Tamara asked, she's like, is it easier to dream when you have experience, or you have a little bit of experience with what you're wanting? And it was such a good point that she brought up, because I've wanted a house in Tahoe for a long time, but I had never been there until last March. And when I went and I drove through town and I saw the lake and the mountains behind it, and there was also, by the way, 10 feet of snow on the ground, like literally, the stop signs were covered. Like you could see the top of the stop sign sticking out of the snow. It was amazing, but it was breathtaking. And so now when I visualize what I want, that house in Lake Tahoe overlooking the lake and the mountains, I have that feeling that I got when I first saw that. I can go back to that and conjure up those feelings a whole lot better than I could before. So I think if we have something that we want, the more little things that we can do to help us anchor those feelings when we think about it, the better we are at co-creating with God and manifesting those things.
Man, great point. Great point.
Yes. May I elaborate on that? Because the lesson that you and Tamara's conversation taught me something profound this morning, or really clarified it. And that, so she was asking about Lake Tahoe, and then she was asked you about the Tesla. So you can, of course, repeat this, but I want to highlight. So Michelle basically went into detail about how, in looking at her vision board, she's creating her 2021. So she was very aware that she wasn't as connected with the Tesla dream as she is with like many other things on the list. And so you made that distinction. You opened your toolbox. You were like, how can I get more connected with this dream? Because you want it. You're not questioning it, right? So you have faith that you want it. You're just not as connected, AKA it's drawing up those feelings that will actually make it happen, right? And so you're co-creating the devotional you read. So you went to a Tesla dealership and you played around with things and the music for an hour. And that just really taught me that it's so much in this day and age, if we're not connected to something, we're just like, oh, it's not meant to be, or oh, that doesn't resonate, or oh, and maybe that's because we're in personal development, so we're very quick to pick up on what doesn't resonate and what doesn't. So, but I have that fear where maybe I struggle with letting things go that I really want, or letting things kind of dissolve the excitement when they're in that magic time, because I'm not connecting with it. And so, will you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. And then I have a really awesome quick story that I'll tell too. That's a very great example of this. But yes, so like I have a Tesla on my vision board for 2020. And I want one. And it's not because I want to look cool driving a Tesla. It's just because I think they're awesome cars and they're really cool and fun. That's what I want, is that fun. And what I had mentioned this morning is what we're seeking when we want things is really we're seeking the feeling that comes with those things. And the Tesla, I just think would be so cool and fun to drive when I go anywhere. And so the first thing that I did on that was to get connected, like you said, to that dream, was to go online on Tesla's website and create my car. So I did. I designed my car that I wanted. And so then I had something a little more than just, seeing Teslas driving on the road. So I had a little bit more of a connection with it, but it still wasn't that strong. And so one day I was just like, there's a Tesla dealership 5 minutes from here. I'm going to go check them out. So I went and I literally sat in the car and played for an hour, and it was so much fun. And now when I think about that experience, I videoed it so I can go back to the video. I've created anchors that help me to conjure up that excited childlike feeling that I had when I sat in that car and played for an hour. It was so cool. And so that just helps me connect. I do have a quick story that's so really, really neat about something like that and manifesting and co-creating with God. One of the trainers that we have that trains us in my coaching business, she and her husband wanted a house in Hawaii. They wanted one for a long time. They wanted just like my want for a house in Tahoe. And she started to do things like that to help her conjure up those feelings. So she bought a cap and wears it all the time still that has the area code of where she wanted to live in Hawaii. They would go, they went on vacation there a couple of times and they'd look at houses and all of that. And she bought a postcard that had the view, like what she wanted. And she had it up like on her vision board it took 3 years. She had it up on her vision board for 3 years. They finally financially got to the point where they could start looking at houses and start to make that dream become a reality. And they were looking at houses with a realtor, and she goes into this house that they're looking at to possibly buy. She walks into the bedroom, and the painting on the wall in the master bedroom was the exact picture of the postcard that's been on her vision board for 3 years. And they now own that house in Hawaii.
Yay.
Yeah.
You guys were always co-creating. Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. One thing it wouldn't be me if I didn't bring that up. I love the manifestation. I love the vision boards. We believe in the vision boards, but I can't put a vision board. I can't put a picture of 6-pack abs on my vision board and eat McDonald's every day.
Right. Nope.
It doesn't work. It does not work.
Common sense is still needed. Please bring it.
And action is still needed. But putting that vision, I think, in your mind helps you to have the motivation and then build that momentum to create the action to get there.
I agree. It primes you for that, whatever it is on your vision board, but you have to change. You can't create the same results by doing the same things that you're doing every single day. You can't. And just posting it on your vision board and being intentional, as powerful as that is, you have to change some habits and lifestyles and do certain things in order to make it happen. Yeah. It's possible, but you still have to take some action and make some changes in your life. Otherwise, you're going to continue to get the same results and wallow in the same feelings that you've been feeling in the past.
Yeah, you can't do the same things and expect different results ever.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter how many pictures of 6-pack abs I post around my wall.
Yeah. And I forget how exactly Tony Robbins says it, but you're not after the thing. You're not after your goal. You're actually after who you will become to achieve that goal. So the thing never actually matters. Who you become is what you're desperate for. Correct. So even if just tiny steps.
What's so cool too is those feelings, like you're after a feeling. I want a house in Lake Tahoe because I can visualize us John and I standing over, looking out the lake, having our kids and grandkids there. And I just visualize that feeling and I can feel it. The feeling is what I want. And the great thing about our brains is that I can conjure up that feeling that I'm seeking anytime I want. I want to go to Ryan's question. Ricardo, Ryan has a question for you. Ricardo, how many people do you allow in to know your goals and or dreams? How big is your circle that really knows?
So that's a great question, Ryan. And the only thing I could do is answer that truthfully and fully. Everyone doesn't know all my dreams, not even Jesse. But there's certain dreams that everyone is very well aware of that I state publicly on social. And then there's other dreams that I just talk to close friends of mine that we talk about it. And then there's dreams that I just talk to Jesse about. There's dreams that I just talk to Sebastian about. And then there's dreams that nobody knows. But it doesn't have to do with the size of the dream. It doesn't matter. There's not like big, like, okay, the really big ones I just keep to myself and smaller ones I share to everyone. It's more about where I am and how I feel about getting that done. In other words, is that something that I really want to do? Is that really something that I'm ready to work on? Is that really something that I'm ready to throw out there? And when I'm ready to make that declaration, then I start spreading it out a little bit. But there's several dreams that die with me. And it's just the truth. And it's not to be whatever. There's several dreams that just die. Dreams/ideas that just die with me. They never get further than my head. Then there's others that I throw out to Jesse, and that's where they stop. Then there's others that I throw out to more of an intimate circle, and sometimes that's where they stop too. And there's even some that I've posted publicly on Facebook, and they never got further than that either. So it just depends. But there's no limit. There's no gauge. There's no anything. But yeah, the more that I'm comfortable and the more that I feel like pushing and pursuing the dream, the more people know about it and the more people experience it, especially after it's happening.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Yes. Yeah. And I love, Ryan also said, what if we cut the board in half? So vision on one side and action steps towards them on the other side. And that's kind of where we get on the soapbox of stop waiting till things are perfect. Stop saying, oh, I'll try on Monday or I'll try on the first of the year. Because if you aren't willing to take a minute, tiny step now, you're not going to take the big step later. Sorry. It's just a fact.
It's cool that Ryan said that, because if you could see my whiteboard in my office right now, John and I have literally mapped this out, like how we've really putting in some thought into how we want our vision boards this year. And we have stair steps going. So we have the topic, like if it's relationship or spiritual growth or finances, whatever it is, health, personal health. We have the categories, and then we have stair steps going up, and we have benchmarks. So the dream might be the Lake Tahoe house, but what's got to happen to get there? There's a lot of things that have to happen to get there. And so those are little benchmarks on those stair steps. And then each little stair step is actions to get to that benchmark, and then actions to get to that benchmark. And pretty soon, but we'll turn around and we'll have a house in Lake Tahoe.
I love that.
So here's one thing. What if that house, what if the dream, what if the house, what if the Tesla don't show up how you imagined? What if they show up in a different form?
I think that's such a great, I could get on a soapbox on that because that is where,
like, you want the Tesla, but what if it's not the car? What if you end up getting like 500 shares of Tesla stock?
That's totally fine.
It's still Tesla. It's still Tesla.
You don't want to limit yourself because it's unlimited. There's infinite possibilities, and it may change. It may not be a Tesla that I want when I get there, but I want the ability, it's not the Tesla, it's the feeling, and it may be something else that gives the feeling.
Exactly.
You can't limit the time frame, and you can't limit how, and you can't limit what. You go after this, but it may change. Who knows what it'll be? But the exciting part is
how it'll show up.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part, though. Who knows how it'll show up? But you have to be open to it. Like if someone showed up and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to give you 10 shares of Tesla," you're not going to be like, "Well, I want
that's
the
not
car."
What I wanted. No.
Yeah. It's like, wait a second. No, you take it. You take it. Okay,
Yeah.
someone's going to show up with a Prius. Well, that's not exactly what I wanted, but you know what? Okay, well, if that's what it is, it's still technically an electric car. So
I'm gonna just go out there and talk about John coming home, because it's like a God thing that's just, I can't even still believe it. But for 15 years, we wanted him home. We fought to get him home, like fought literally, like, and it was like, no, 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 doors closing, doors closing, doors closing, doors closing. We surrendered it. We're like, we know, we just felt like God's going to bring him home. And we don't know how, but we just trust, and we know. And all of a sudden, like, there's so many details to the story that blow your mind. But the moment that we surrendered it, literally like 2 months later, he was home because of a global pandemic. It was mind-boggling. So you don't know how. Don't put God in a box and limit the how, or that would just know that the possibilities are unlimited. You have no idea how it's going to happen.
You
they
can
have
move
no idea
mountains.
how it's going to show up.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good. This is good. However, there's some good stuff going on in the astrology world.
Yes, there is.
So, real
Okay.
quick, Courtney, give us the forecast.
Okay, it's
Break it
December
down for us.
14th, 2020, and today is quite a portal. We actually passed through one. Dang it, I wasn't paying attention. We passed through one live on this call. Okay, so December 14th today. So a lot is going on. It's a new moon and a solar eclipse today in Sagittarius. But I'm going to walk you through kind of the portals we're passing through today, because I think there's 5 or 6 of them. So the first one happened this morning at 6:37 a.m. Venus is conjunct to Juno, which I think is one of the goddesses. I'm not sure. But before dawn, Venus is in Scorpio, aligned with Juno, the goddess of asteroid or marriage and commitment, inspiring exchanges or dissolving fear of abandonment. At 8:17 a.m., the actual moon void of course begins. So the actual new moon began at 8:17 a.m. this morning. The solar eclipse is in Sagittarius. Eclipses recalibrate us to our collective evolutionary potential by introducing people, concept, and events to shift our awareness and our course. So allow the eclipse to work its magic, okay? 12:58 p.m. Venus is sextile Jupiter. And I'm all in my twang. Venus is sextile Jupiter. So Venus in Scorpio forms a sextile to Jupiter in Capricorn, an auspicious aspect for financial prosperity. So 12:58 p.m., you meditate your hiney on money. Okay. The fourth one. Okay, so 4:30 p.m. Ceres is sextile Uranus in retrograde. So Ceres in Pisces creates an easy sextile to Uranus retrograde in Taurus, making us imaginative and idealistic. So keep the faith. So it's going to deliver like a childlike, naive approach to your goals. So you're going to have new ideas, but you're not going to be scared of them. So what I wrote down, be an Imagineer with your goals, like slip into that childlike engineer type. Okay, so this connection has the curious effect of mixing spirituality and science. There's a word for this. It's called magic. So find your hidden abilities. We're almost done. So 7:35 p.m., the moon enters Capricorn and the moon void, of course, ends. So kind of the cycle of the day and the new moon ending, or I'm sorry, the new moon beginning. So after dark, the moon will exit Sagittarius and enter Capricorn, ending its void, of course. Our feelings become more conservative, more aligned with ethics and our responsibilities. So you're going to want to save your energy tonight for problem solving. Okay. Focus on problem solving. And then tonight at 8:24 p.m., Mercury trine Mars. So this will balance mental and physical energy. So Mars's direct approach stabilizes the meandering and distractions brought from Mercury and Sagittarius. This will enhance our focus, complete tasks that we would have otherwise avoided. So those are the 6 different kind of timing portals. The good news is you don't actually have to do anything. Just be present today, be awake. It'll happen naturally. All of this is happening without you doing anything. So, but December 15th, tomorrow, additionally, Venus, the planet of love, will enter Sagittarius. So this will open your mind to new avenues. And then December 17th, Saturn, the planet of karma and tradition will enter Aquarius, preparing you for the change or shift that is to come. So, in short, 2020 is going out with a bang, literally. So, there you go. So, mucho, 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 be a bore. There we go. Okay. Oh, did she? Jesse, I practiced it for you guys this morning. I was going to surprise you, but your husband beat me to it.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Thank you,
You're
Courtney. Here's what I heard, guys. Whether you believe in this or not, it's fun. I love hearing it. And all I heard was that all these portals to take action are opening up for you. That's what I heard.
They're already set up in your favor.
Correct. I just heard that if you're just hesitating on taking action right now is the time to do stuff. If you listen closely to what Courtney was saying.
Yes.
Now is the time. If you've been hesitating, today's a great day. This week's a great week to do something, take action, move forward towards your goals. And she used the keyword that we've been using throughout this entire broadcast is childlike curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oof.
So just allow it. Just allow it and receive it. That's all you have to do. Allow, receive, take your next step. Allow, receive, take your next step.
Yes,
Stop
for sure.
Dream.
Possibilities. Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan says, as Courtney was reading, I just kept hearing the word possibilities. And that's what this is. It's just the world of possibilities. Go ahead, Courtney.
And Michelle did ask a question.
Something so exciting.
Yeah, well, kind of. So timeanddate.com. That's the one. So Michelle had asked where I go to. So I look for the most non-biased astrological source. And so I just use timeanddate.com, but they have a lot of stuff on the new moon this week. So if you want the exact time, I have like 6 timers set up today. So you can, of course, watch the replay, but timeanddate.com and go to the astrology news, and that'll tell you kind of what's coming up and where to find the next whatever's going to happen. So
the next
I've
portal.
not even researched what's coming up first at the 2021. Who knows?
The next portal for opportunity and possibility.
Yes.
Great episode today, guys. This was so much fun. Word of the week, dream. Dream big, dream often, take action, follow your dreams, and map out your life.
Yes.
Amazing.
Love it.
Okay. We'll be back on Wednesday for another episode. The fresh, new, early morning Wednesday, right?
Yes.
And
what do we have coming up? What? Oh, our fourth. If you're watching the replay and you want to catch the beginning, so you can catch all of our episodes at forceforgrowth.com. And we're available on all your favorite platforms as well on Audible. So if you don't have an Audible, make sure to sign up with our code and get yourself those 2 free credits. But Apple listeners, YouTube, you name it, we're everywhere. So check it out. And
if that doesn't solidify that we don't rehearse, nothing else does. Because I just said and I didn't know, is it going to be Courtney? Is it going to be Michelle? Who's going to say what? I have no idea. And apparently neither did they.
Force for Growth live.
Yes.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Mucho.
Mucho.
All of us at the same time. Mucho.
Okay. Mucho.
Mucho. Amor.
More.
Oh.